Spock!
It's been a whopping 8 years since we last voyaged into the cinematic universe of Star Trek with the release of Star Trek Beyond in 2016. Since then, fans have been eagerly awaiting the next installment, particularly the much-discussed Star Trek IV. But despite the chatter, there's been little progress on that front, leaving us stranded in a temporal loop reminiscent of the Guardian of Forever. The big question on everyone's mind is, what's causing the delay? Adding to the intrigue, news just broke about a new Star Trek prequel film in development, helmed by director Toby Haynes and writer Seth Grahame-Smith. However, here's the twist. It's entirely separate from the elusive Star Trek IV. So while Paramount is gearing up for a fresh Trek adventure, the fact that they're forging ahead with a different project only deepens the mystery surrounding the stalled Star Trek IV. It's a puzzling situation indeed, leaving fans wondering what exactly is holding back the Enterprise from once again gracing the silver screen. When we take a look at the extensive history of Star Trek on the big screen, spanning 45 years, some interesting patterns emerge. The initial 4 films, led by William Shatner, were rolled out in a tight time frame of 7 years, from 1979 to 1986. Following suit, the 6-movie run from the motion picture in 1979 to The Undiscovered Country in 1991 unfolded over a span of 12 years. The Patrick Stewart-led Next Generation era saw all 4 films produced within 8 years, from Generations in 1994 to Nemesis in 2002. Even the Chris Pine reboot, though it may have slowed the pace slightly after its 2009 debut, managed to churn out 3 movies in just 7 years. But then, we hit a snag with Star Trek IV, the highly anticipated conclusion to the Pine iteration of the franchise. The staggering reality is that fans have now endured the longest drought in Star Trek movie history. It's a situation so unprecedented that there's even a dedicated Wikipedia page tracking the twists and turns of the development of Star Trek IV. The initial buzz surrounding Star Trek IV began to surface during the promotional blitz for Star Trek Beyond. It was J.J. Abrams, the mastermind behind the franchise's reboot with the 2009 film and its sequel, Into Darkness, who first hinted at a 4th installment. Abrams tantalizingly revealed plans for a film that would reunite Chris Pine's Captain Kirk with Chris Hemsworth's George Kirk, building on Hemsworth's brief but impactful appearance as Kirk's father in the 2009 movie, not to mention his subsequent rise to stardom in the Marvel Universe. Little did we know at the time, but the concept for the Pine-Hemsworth storyline was likened to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in space, adding an extra layer of intrigue to the anticipated reunion. The tease about Star Trek IV from Abrams could indeed have been a strategic move to generate buzz ahead of Beyond's release. However, whether it was merely pre-release hype or a genuine plan remains a mystery. The lukewarm reception to Beyond, which fell short of its predecessor Into Darkness at the box office, likely contributed to the subsequent silence surrounding the 4th film. Despite this setback, by 2018, reports surfaced of 3 different scripts in the works for Star Trek IV, with one of them originating from the visionary Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino's involvement initially sparked excitement, but it soon became apparent that he had some misconceptions about the franchise's timeline. His preference for the original series over the Abrams films and his reluctance to acknowledge the alternate timelines created a stumbling block. Ultimately, The Revenant's Mark L. Smith was brought on board to pen the script, with Tarantino considering directing. However, he eventually backed out, leading to a loss of momentum for the project at Paramount. While we may never see Tarantino's take on Star Trek, perhaps it found its way into existence in some alternate reality. In April 2018, S.J. Clarkson made headlines by becoming the first female director to helm a Star Trek feature film when she was tapped to direct Star Trek IV. It was a significant moment in the franchise's history, marking a milestone for diversity and inclusion. However, Clarkson's vision for the USS Enterprise never materialized. Just a few months later, in August of the same year, reports emerged that negotiations between the studio and Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth had hit a roadblock. Paramount seemed unwilling to meet the hefty salary demands comparable to those of stars in blockbuster superhero franchises like Marvel or DC, especially considering Star Trek's underwhelming performance at the box office. By 2021, Hawley had departed from Star Trek IV, leaving fans wondering about the future of the film once again. But the saga didn't end there. Matt Shakman, fresh off his success with WandaVision, took the helm, injecting renewed hope into the project. Yet, just like the Enterprise's encounters with unexpected anomalies, Shakman's tenure was short-lived. In a surprising twist, by 2022, Shakman had exited Star Trek IV to direct Fantastic Four for Marvel, leaving the future of the Star Trek movie franchise once again uncertain. Marvel's influence on the landscape of Hollywood has undeniably impacted the fate of Star Trek IV. Simon Pegg, who not only starred as Scotty but also co-wrote Star Trek Beyond, shed light on this disparity in an interview with Games Radar Plus and Total Film. He pointed out the stark reality. Star Trek films simply don't rake in the same blockbuster profits as Marvel's cinematic universe. Pegg highlighted the financial challenges facing Star Trek productions, emphasizing the discrepancy between their budgets and earnings. While a typical Star Trek film costs around $200 million to produce, they typically gross around $500 million at best. In contrast, Marvel films routinely exceed the billion-dollar mark. This stark contrast in financial returns has made it increasingly difficult for Star Trek movies to compete in the ever-evolving landscape of Hollywood. The saga of Star Trek IV's elusive journey to the silver screen is a tale as complex as any interstellar adventure. One factor that cannot be overlooked is the franchise's intrinsic connection to television, its birthplace. Paramount Plus has been the canvas for a diverse array of Trek sales since the debut of Star Trek Discovery 6 years ago. From the philosophical musings of Picard to the irreverent humor of Lower Decks, the small screen has offered a rich tapestry of storytelling possibilities. Michelle Yeoh's upcoming Section 31 series exemplifies this shift, marking the franchise's first made-for-TV feature. Navigating the transition from TV to film poses its own set of challenges. The demands of a blockbuster movie focused on action and spectacle may clash with the nuanced narratives explored in television series like Picard. Marvel's recent experiences underscore this disparity, highlighting the distinct needs of each medium. However, while Paramount's cinematic and television endeavors may seem disjointed, the franchise itself remains robust. Picard's triumphant return and the success of Strange New Worlds demonstrate Star Trek's enduring appeal. Yet the alignment of Paramount's movie and TV ventures remains a perplexing puzzle. Patrick Stewart's tease of a Picard movie script tantalizes fans, while the potential for cross-series crossovers sparks excitement. A hybrid theatrical streaming release could bridge the gap between mediums, capitalizing on the franchise's diverse storytelling potential. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.